Hello, everyone. Welcome to TSAM Digital. My name is Anna, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Murray Campbell, CAS Business Consultant of AutoRek. Welcome, Murray.
Morning, Anna. Thanks very much. Morning, everyone.
Thank you so much for being here. So today we wanted to talk about automation. And to kick things off, could you tell us, Murray, why should asset management firms be looking towards automation across their operational function?
I think firms are always looking at ways that they can improve how they do things. I think for asset managers across their operational teams, there's always a heavy reliance on manual processes. So I think where they can find automation within there can really drive benefits for them. And it's not necessarily about reducing staff numbers. It's more about using that resource as effectively as they can do. So if things can be done better or differently through automation, I think there's real benefits for firms. And if that frees up resource, then that can be kind of focused elsewhere. And I think at the moment in particular, obviously the FCA's operational resilience rules have just come into effect earlier on this year, and that placed a real emphasis on firms identifying their important business services and the processes and the technology that are required to deliver those services. And through that firms should have been kind of, I suppose, identifying any potential vulnerabilities from maybe heavy reliance on manual processes. So I think it's a good time to identify where automation could be useful addition for firms. So I think, as I say, there's many reasons why firms look towards automation, and certainly that's one of them.
This is really interesting. I really wanted to ask, what are the specific benefits to be achieved from automating reconciliations?
Operational resilience is one of them. So you're increasing the overall resilience of the process. One comment that I commonly hear from firms that we speak to is around future-proofing of their processes. So the firms can possibly cope today with their manual processes, but as they look further down the line, in a year's time, for example, if they continue to grow in the way that they hope and expect to grow, can their manual processes continue to support their needs? So I think that the automation of process gives them that comfort. So for example, by automating reconciliations, you can handle far higher transactional volumes than you can do when you're processing reconciliations manually. And so with an automated reconciliation, you have the comfort of knowing that as your business grows and your transactional volumes increase, you can continue to, your processes can continue to support your needs essentially. And not only are you handling higher transactional volumes, you can also do that through automatic matching of the transactions. So when you do reconciliations manually, a big amount of the manual effort is required to actually match transactions down. An automated solution will take care of that for you. So you're freeing up a lot of manual effort and resource in reconciliation teams. So you can divert that to where it's most needed and most effective, rather than just simply matching down the transactions that have happened on the previous day. And then by doing that, as I say, you're using automated match rules. So that's all pre-configured within a system. So you have additional control there of knowing that matched transactions have met the prescribed criteria of your match rules. And as kind of with any automated system, there's inbuilt systemic controls that come with that in terms of user access permissions. So individuals and teams can have access that's relevant just to them as a team and what they need. You then have automated record retention and workflow and approval and sign-off of reconciliations and the investigation of reconciliations. So an automated solution is perfectly placed for maintaining a record of everything that's happened previously. And when it comes to audit time, you have all of that at your fingertips. And then when you use an automated system and you load it with your reconciliation data, there's many additional benefits. For example, kind of real-time management information, which can often be a bit of a headache when your reconciliations are manual. Having it in a system means you get all that data at your fingertips. So there's many benefits to be had there.
So speaking of headaches, actually, what are some of the challenges that firms will face when they consider looking for automation?
I suppose for any firm in any industry, there's always a limit to what they can achieve. First and foremost, organisations are built to complete their daily tasks, and that is the ultimate priority. So all the tasks have to be completed today, and then they have to do them again tomorrow. So that completion of BAU will always be the priority. So the scope and the available resource outside of that to do any other tasks, for example, to deliver automation, can be limited. If we think about it in terms of you're an internal IT resource, they'll have many competing priorities and demands for their time. So being able to build and develop and produce an automated solution can be challenging. And obviously for firms as well, financial resources are also finite. So there will always be competing demands for where resources should be spent and where they're best utilised. So there's many challenges around the resource space, which I think firms have to kind of navigate to understand where they best want to use their resources. And then, as with any change, I suppose, within an organisation, there will be an element of internal resistance to that. So teams at the moment are built and they understand their existing processes. Now, while they might be manual, they might be very manual, the teams are built and they'll understand what their day-to-day tasks are and how to complete those. And therefore, any attempt to change that may also kind of be met with some scepticism or some resistance. I think automation always triggers an idea of cost cutting or headcount reduction within organisations. So I think it's very important that where firms look towards automation, that they make it clear that it's not just about cost cutting, it's about using that resource better, making sure teams are fully involved in the process of delivering the automation, so they have that feeling of ownership, so that the automated solution has the best chance of succeeding long term with buy-in from the team. So there are challenges there, but I think key to that is prioritising where it's most needed and most beneficial to firms, and then kind of making a plan to work out how it's going to be best delivered in reality.
This sounds really interesting. Lastly, just wanted to ask, what does the process of automating reconciliations involve?
I suppose, first of all, there's a need for firms to identify their opportunities. So they have to look across their operational function and see where they have manual challenges, manual touch points, and the risk of manual errors that come from that. And if that's found to be within their reconciliations team, they've got reconciliations which are reliant on manual processes, then that has to be identified as an opportunity to automate. And once they've identified that has to then be prioritised against any other areas where they're looking to change or develop. But once they've identified and prioritised their reconciliations, it kind of follows a very sort of standard path of what a project would look like, where there would be full scope and design sessions where the existing manual processes are fully understood, so that we can understand how the organisation's data looks, and then how that can be translated into an automated solution. And then that solution would be fully designed in agreement with the kind of reconciliation SMEs within that organisation. So they're fully on board, they're helping in the design and the process, and that design then is built essentially in line with what the requirements are. And that's where it follows the path of development and build work through those sprint cycles, where sections of the build are delivered into a user acceptance testing phase, where teams can then start to test the product and become familiar with it. And that cycle will continue really until the solution is working as expected in a test environment. And then there's a plan for go live, most likely involving some parallel run, where the reconciliation team would be completing their manual process alongside the automated solution, really building up familiarity and confidence in that system, up until the point that they're then using the automated solution within their BAU environment. And then really it just becomes embedding those automated reconciliations within the organisations. And within that period, teams and organisations typically tend to start turning an eye to what can come next in a process, what else would they like to automate, what else can the system do for them, and what are the system's capabilities really to kind of be fully kind of embraced within their organisation. So there's many aspects to it, but that's kind of the standard path that it would follow.
Thank you so much, Murray, for sharing your insight with our community of asset managers. I'm sure they really appreciate it.
No problem at
And
all.
yeah, thank you so much and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yeah, thanks very much for the time. It's been good to talk to you. I'll see you again soon.